Welcome. You're listening to Getting Real with Réal Andrews and Alex Rabina right here on your hometown station, AM 1220 KHTS. We love to hear from you. I got a great guest on our show today, Tim Abel. If there's any vets out there, Tim's very, very passionate about wounded vets. We'd love to hear from you today at 661-298-5487. That's 661-298-KHTS. Don't forget to download your free AM 1220 KHTS app. That's really cool. You can take us with you anywhere you want to go. My name's Réal Andrews. I'm one of the hosts, and I really came up with this concept for this show because I've been very passionate about helping people to achieve their goals for the past 30 plus years. I've owned 3 of my own gyms, and along the way I realized that it wasn't just helping them physically, it was helping them to just not only be what they thought they wanted to be, but to get out of the box, to believe in themselves more. And along the way, Alex Rabina was brought into my life, and we kind of are like the perfect 1-2 punch, if you will. You know, Alex, tell us a little bit about what you do.
You know, my job is to help people get from where they are to where they want to be, helping them, discover what are some of the limitations that get in their way, both mentally, spiritually, emotionally. You know, just get rid of some of the things that you can't see that's stopping you, and become really good at doing that for people and helping them get to the next level in their life. And that's kind of what I'm up to. That's
awesome. And what I love about it is kind of like I'm like the physical, passionate, inspirational kind. You're kind of like the intellectual, spiritual, emotional, and together we're like the 1-2 punch. And I really love the combination. It's been a huge change in my life. We got Tim. I got to tell you, we got my good buddy Tim. I want to tell you a little bit about him. But Tim isn't able to get in the studio today because he's traveling home for Christmas. But I got my little scarecrow up, Tim. We got a nice headshot of you. You got a Christmas hat on. You're looking all festive. And so what I'm talking about is Tim Abel. Some of you guys know me and Tim did Soldiers of Fortune back in the days. And I got to tell you, the show we're talking about today is patriotism and honor. And Alex, when we were talking a few weeks back, I said, this man here, if you were to open up an encyclopedia, dictionary, integrity, character, honor, patriotism, there would be a full page of this guy here. This is Tim Abel. I love this man. Tim, how are you? Are you there?
I'm right here, guys. Merry Christmas.
Merry Christmas to you. So, Tim, it's been a while. We've been keeping in touch through Facebook, little text here and there, but give me the 411 because, man, you have just really, since the Soldiers of Fortune days, you've really reinvented yourself, and you work all the time. Tell me a little bit about what you've been up to.
Well, time just goes by in the blink of an eye, doesn't it, brother?
Yes, sir.
It just seemed like yesterday you and I had just been filming Soldier of Fortune, the Bruckheimer series, and I know for me it was like my first big deal in terms of a show, and as an actor, and coming on board that show, and Greg Strangis and Bob and McCullough, all the guys who brought us on board and hired us, and Jerry Bruckheimer, that was such an outstanding experience. And then going from that, I always look back at that, and I count the years. And I think it's 18 years now.
Wow.
And it's like, 1997 we were doing that, and I remember like yesterday. You, me, Mark Shepard, Melinda Clark, Brad Johnson, and it was just such an awesome experience. And Harry Humphreys, our tech advisor, Navy SEAL tech advisor, and going from that to today, and I'm always so proud of what we did on that show, because I think we did some awesome work on that show, and I think it was ahead of its time, and it only went a couple seasons, but I think it really was a show that was ahead of its time, and I'm very blessed to do it because I got to meet people like you and still remain friends with you. And from there today, and I look at what I do today as an actor, and proud of my work, proud of what I do as an actor. I love what I do. I feel very, very blessed to be able to say that I work as an actor and that it's what I do. But I think I'm most proud and honored to be involved with a show that I do called Grateful Nation. And growing up as a kid back in Maryland, Virginia area, hunting and fishing and whatnot, I was able to translate that into and be asked to do a show for the Outdoor Channel, and we've been doing it for the past 8 seasons now. But Grateful Nation, I get to take our wounded veterans coming back, these war fighters, young and old, coming back from the Middle East and fighting the good fight out there for us against terrorism. I get to take these guys on these outdoor adventures around the world and tell their stories. So I'm very honored and very proud to be involved in that and to be able to do that, because I think it's something that's incumbent upon all of us as Americans, whether you served or didn't serve, to honor those men and women in uniform coming back. And some of them are terribly messed up, mentally, physically. We've had people on with no legs, no arms, blind, burned. And as I see the joy in their face when you talk about their service and then being in the outdoors and hunting and fishing, I know you're a huge fisherman, that you see the joy and what a I'll say the outdoors is somewhat of a cathedral, where people can come outdoors and like God's all around you. Everything, whatever you believe in, I mean, it's all out there, and you can find healing properties in the outdoors. So that's why I'm very proud to be part of that show.
It really warms me up to hear that you have made a commitment to help, the men and women that come back from service, to, either help them heal or help them find some peace and maybe help them focus on something to move forward. But to know that you're out there doing that really kind of warms me up inside. And it also opens up the possibility of wondering how the rest of us can support something like that. Like it's cool to have, a soldier come back home and everyone's, clapping for him or doing a standing ovation at the baseball games and that kind of thing. But I mean, that's just kind of just in the moment, one of those things that you just happen to run into somebody. But what would it be like if some of us, decided that we want to actively once a month get together with a group like that and take these guys out and really be a part of celebrating them and honoring them on a continuous basis?
Yeah, I mean, what you can do, and it's awesome to be able to say thank you for your service, and everyone does. And there's so many people nowadays that do honor those men and women, and whether they believe or don't believe in what fighting in the Middle East and what's going on in Afghanistan or Iraq, they still honor the men and women in uniform. Not all, but most do. It's not like the Vietnam era anymore. And what I find, because it's as happy as some of these guys and gals seem, and as much as they're doing out there, they can be the most well-adjusted, seemingly most well-adjusted person, yet today we still have 22 to 23 veteran suicides per day, and that's them taking their own life, or suicide by cop, or running a truck or car or motorcycle into a tree or off a cliff, or over-medicating themselves knowing what they're doing, and that's a low figure. That's just the number that they can verify. That's not even the number that they can even put a number to, because it's probably twice that, I would say. And when you think of that many people, our veterans who put their life on the line for us, who write that blank check up into including their life, and come back and are having issues with the VA, or home problems at home, or just trying to get their life back together. That's the thing where we go, how can we help? Well, there's so many organizations, and I'm not talking about Wounded Warrior Project, because they're flush with money and they kind of have a bad name now out there in the veteran community, because they make so much money and only a small amount of that money trickles into the hands of our deserving veterans. And I would say, if you want to help, you find organizations that are grassroots organizations where that they're properly vetted in that money. And there's a lot of outdoor programs, not just Grateful Nation, but there's programs that we're fully funded through Federal Ammunition and Savage Rifles and Bushnell Optics and all these other Ram trucks, all kinds of places that sponsor us. But these grassroots organizations, and there's some like I'm involved with, like American Soldier Network here in Los Angeles, or Grateful Nation, not Grateful Nation, but GallantFew.org, which is a great organization run by a bunch of Rangers, which helps and gives back to Gold Star families, to Special Operations community, and all of that, almost 100% of the money that they make goes to those veterans and helps them. And but there's tons of groups out there, like Branded Brigade Outdoors out of Texas, and they take veterans on fishing trips, hunting trips, and there's just so many guys that are out there. And if you want to help, you just Google outdoor organizations, and just if you hit any of those, and you'll find a litany of places that are actually helping our veterans. And you got to watch yourself, because there's a lot of folks that take advantage of that and pocket all this money.
Well, that's why I think that having somebody that has a little bit of trust and credibility, that has a name, that you kind of met them a few times, you trust them, that they're actually doing the work, and having a name like that attached to an organization, I think helps out a lot too. Not just somebody that no one knows. You don't know who they are if they just came out of the left field and they're pocketing that money.
And I'll tell you what, if you guys could have a competition on your, or have people call in to recommend for you guys. Look, Réal, who I love dearly, I know he's such a huge fisherman. You could have Réal take some guys out and we'll put together a group of people that could go out on a fishing trip, a big bass, a bass fishing trip. And
I would absolutely love that. And I don't mean to take away from Texas or wherever you're from, but I'm as you're talking about it, I'm getting excited about our own community, because I'm always firm believer of let's help out our own village first.
Yes.
And if you're doing something out there, maybe it's something that fires up both me and Réal just to decide this is another project, like we need to take another one on. But what is something that we just decide that we give back to our community, because we have a lot of heroes here in Santa Clarita that could probably use something like that.
And I'm telling you, if you put out there right now, and I'll put a challenge out there to anybody listening to the show or to the podcast of this show, send in names of either yourself, if you are one of these soldiers who are war fighters, male or female, who love the outdoors or would love to go to the outdoors and try something, some great fishing trip or hunting trip or some outdoor adventure, and find people within the Santa Clarita community, because you'll have moms and dads, and there's, and I also say, you got to take care of the family. You find some Gold Star families out there with lost sons and daughters that are out there as war fighters, and we lose them every day, and if we put it out there as a challenge, you'll get a list, long as your arm, of people that would love to go on some sort of outdoor adventure. And you guys could put that together and then talk about it and then make it happen. And I can help you guys. I get you linked up with the organizations here in California that would love to talk with you guys about hosting outdoor adventures with our war fighters.
I would love to put together a program like that. Do some team building,
we got
some ropes courses, we just put together a whole weekend of powerful empowerment and helping rebuild. Because you know what, one suicide is too many.
23 a day. That's crazy.
And just how many more are suffering right now with trying to figure out how to be successful in the relationships, with their wives and their kids and
you see so much of that out, because it's not just the guy who served, the female who put the uniform on and went overseas and fought. And it's also the family at home who's waiting and scared to hear what happened, or heard that their loved one got blown up in a Humvee by an IED on a roadside attack and got shot through the chest and got his legs blown off, and now they have to wait for him to come home. And how does that make you? Imagine that feeling. Both of you, I don't know if you have any kids, Alex, but I know Réal does. If one of his sons decided to join the military, just imagine how on edge Réal would be every day, wondering how his son was, overseas. And that's the thing, only less than 1% of our population, of our youth, decides to join the military and to serve our country. And without that, we have nothing, without our military. So I think it's incumbent upon all of us as Americans who enjoy our freedom and know what it takes, the service and the sacrifice of those youngsters out there, and those who served 40 years who are still who are over there, or our citizen soldiers who are National Guardsmen or reservists that are out there fighting. And, it's just I think what you guys do and how you bringing this subject up is just wonderful for you guys as well.
Tim, I want to, and as I'm listening to you talk, there's a couple things that are going on my mind. But one thing I want to start about is you mentioned Ranger. I know you were a Ranger. You served this country. Help us to understand. I want to go in the mind. What was it like out there? What was it? Because like we all sit here from the sidelines. We get, I do these like on Veterans Day and Memorial Day, and I do these CrossFit kind of workouts, or I come up with a crazy workout to honor, the day, or honor. A lot of times I'll pick a certain soldier and put their picture up and say, let's just do something really hard to try to mimic what it was like out there, but I know it's not even.
It won't even scratch the surface.
It won't even scratch the surface.
Well, we know as actors, and listen, when we did Soldier of Fortune, we were getting information from someone like Harry Humphreys to give us some sort of real world feeling up to the show, because Bruckheimer wanted to be as real as possible. And when you think about us as actors, we can portray the hell out of something where all of a sudden we've got this, people can watch the show and be so immersed in what we're doing and think, oh my God, and we're all supposed to be former veterans that had fought for our country, and now we're all in this super secret operational team out of the deep sea rings of the Pentagon. Well, that's all great. But when you think about what's going on today, and if you watch any, and I'll say this, if you have not watched any of these documentaries out there about our soldiers and our warfighters, our Marines, our SEALs, our Special Forces, all these MARSOC, I mean, everybody that's out there fighting the good fight for us that we don't even hear about. And now they just are sending over a lot more Special Forces guys over into the Middle East. The thing is, if you watch some of these shows, you'll get to see and get somewhat of a flavor of what these guys go through. And the Hornet's Nest is a good one. There's quite a few of them that are out there, these documentaries where they actually have an embed photographer or a person with a camera just filming what's going on. And Restrepo is also another good one. And if you watch that, it will kind of give you somewhat, I'm not saying an objective view of what they're going through, but this is what people, and I know as actors have always asked, is what does it feel like, these guys that are sitting there being fired at, going into harm's way? And I'll say this. Listen, I'm not a combat veteran. I was a Ranger with the 2nd 75th Ranger Battalion out of Fort Lewis, Washington. I came in 1976, got out in 1983, and for me, I didn't have any combat time at all. I never got fired at and was in a hostile territory in that regard. But those who have, and those who have had on the show, my friends who are Rangers and SF guys who have gone through all those things, the mental focus that you have to go through and have to survive and do your job, it's about your mission and purpose on any given day. And if you fail to bring that, if you are too scared or mortified or worried about your own safety, then you cannot function and people will die. And what they have to do is when the bullets start, that's when you find these guys that become heroes, guys who get the Medal of Honor, who get silver stars and bronze stars. They continue to fight. I think they're still scared, but they're fighting. Even though they're still scared, and even though that but what you have to do is, and to answer your question, I'd say is this: is these guys and females who are in combat sway or in the combat zone, who actually end up in firefights, they end up fighting not for the flag or God or country. They end up fighting for the man and the woman who's on their left and right and behind them, and fighting with them. They will give their life gladly, and it becomes instinctual. It's not even a thought. And you get people that are so pumped up with adrenaline, and then they'll take a bullet for their best friend right next to them.
Yeah, but I think they have to relate it to something human, because the flag represents the United States of America. But your buddy next to you represents everyone else in the United States. They're a symbol. They're a symbol of ourselves.
I will say no. What that person represents is your friend. If it's Réal on my right,
exactly,
and you on my left. Again, I'm not thinking America, God, apple pie, my mom and dad, my wife back home. I'm thinking of Réal and you. That's it. Nothing more. It doesn't come down to anything else than protecting my friend on my right and my friend on my left. And that's it. And you train that way. What happens is the way that you train, I mean, listen, we're all proud. We put the uniform on. We walk. We salute the flag. We are full, patriotic, wonderful people that will do what we have to do. And as we put on and we're on the parade ground and we're saluting the flag and the president and all those things, that's all well and good. But I'll say this is when the stuff hits the fan, that's when all that goes out the window and you're fighting for the man on your left and the man on your right.
Wow.
Simple as that.
Hey, Tim, so let's take a break at that. This is a great stuff. We're going to take a quick break. You're listening to Getting Real with Réal Andrews and Alex Urbina right here on your hometown station, AM 1220 KHTS. We'll be right back with my good buddy, Tim Abel.